Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode here in NHL 21. So in last episode we had free agency and we also started up the season simulation, and as you can see so far we're just outside of a playoff spot with an 18-17-3 record. And yeah, this team hasn't been the greatest so far. Landeskog has been phenomenal so far, but this team still has been struggling in terms of scoring. So I am recording this episode right after this previous one went up, so you guys won't have a whole lot of comments, but there is one already that I'd like to go over, which I'd like to address, which is from HawksFan88. He says, I think what you need is a top 9 goal scorer. It might not be the star you really need, but it will be a solid alternative to get somebody better scoring in your top 9, which I totally agree with, because I was actually looking for a top 9 scorer like a couple days ago before that comment, so that's kind of interesting. The one guy we are probably going to be trading for, though, is a guy from the Nashville Predators that is very intriguing, that you guys might have seen on Twitter if you guys saw my tweet to Hawks fan, just because I wanted to show him what the guy looked like. So it's this Bullion dude. Basically, he is an 81 third-line scoring forward, medium top 9, only 24. And as you can see, he might fit our second line, maybe he fits our top line, maybe he fits our third line, but otherwise this guy looks pretty good on paper in terms of stats. And this season he's been tearing it up in Nashville. He's got 24 goals in 37 games and 43 points. Last season, which was his NHL rookie season, he had 28 goals. So this guy knows how to score goals, and that's exactly what we need. So he is the perfect player for us to trade for. He is signed for 3 years, which is a bit long term, but he is only 24 and he's only making 2.14. So he's basically like a better version of Harvey Jenner, I think, to an extent. And yeah, I'm really excited to bring this guy in because I know we will be able to get him. Because in Trade Finder, the only things Nashville wants in exchange, like they have 5 different offers they're willing to take for Bullion. This first one here, I'm not willing to do because Tucker is one of our best prospects. And then Fawcett I would be willing to give up, but I don't want to necessarily do this one. And then a 5th round pick. The other offers they're throwing us is Sedin, a 3rd, and Turkov. I don't want to move Sedin, and I don't feel like moving Turkov, just in case he pans out. The 3rd one they're offering us is Dunham, a 3rd, and Turkov, and I don't really want to part with Dunham just yet. Yeah, the other one is Hobbs, so it's a bunch of top 6 forward prospects. But then this one I think I'm willing to do, which is giving up a 2nd, a 3rd, and Cato, because a 2nd, we could get a good prospect in that part of the draft, but it doesn't really matter that much. The 3rd round pick doesn't matter that much because it might be a late round pick. And then Cato is a low top 9 prospect, and I don't think he's even playing in the AHL. Like, I feel like I have him scratched or something. So we're going to do this first one, a 2nd, a 3rd, and Cato for Bullion. And then I don't know who we're going to take out of our lineup to put Bullion in, but welcome to the team, Bullion. I think this is going to be a very nice pickup for us. And they send him down to the minors. We're going to have to call him up. I wouldn't mind putting Coley Minen into the NHL as well at some point, but it doesn't really matter that much at the moment. I think I am going to take Fitzpatrick out of the lineup because Fitzpatrick's a -10. He's just not been great so far. So I think I'm going to take him out in favor of Bullion. And then Bullion will move. Okay, that's a bit risky. -1. I could move him to the top line. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I'm going to move him to the top line. I know it seems weird, but he's a really good goal scorer, so he could help us out maybe. And then I'm going to move Dingman back down to the 4th line to play alongside Jenner and Foodie. Just so he could get a little bit more, like he's still getting power play time, but I think he's a better fit down there. Well, maybe not, but still, I think this would be better for our team. If need be, we could always move like Garon maybe down and stuff like that, but I want to give Bullion a lot of ice time because in Nashville he was averaging 15 minutes on ice, so he was getting, I think, 2nd or 3rd line time, and then he was also getting power play time, so we got to throw him into our special teams, which means I am going to be taking, I think, Lacerte off the power play. Yeah, I think I'll take Lacerte off the power play, and then we'll probably move Bullion to the top unit instead of Landeskog's been good though. Let's move Landeskog maybe here instead of Garon. Just throw this around a little bit and that should be good. And I don't know about 4-on-4 or 4-man power play. I'll put him here instead of Lacerte as well, might as well. Because I want to make sure he could get a lot of goals with us, because he's going to be probably that piece that hopefully could help us get to the playoffs. We might make some more trades in this episode depending on how we are at the deadline. But that's the only one we're going to make, and then this is going to be our depth guys. Jenner's going to be scratched because I don't really like how he's been playing as of late. I feel like he's probably one of the pieces on our team we could trade away, because he is signed for still one more season after this. So he could be probably somebody we flip if he's like losing morale and stuff like that. But we could definitely change up our lines if need be. I put Brett Leeson into the lineup because Brett Leeson's been really good as a depth forward for us, and he's a really good fit for our fourth line and all over the place. So that's the only reason I have him in at this stage. But I think our lineup is ready to go. Let's do some more simulating once I get somebody into the lineup in the AHL. Which, who should I put in? The person with the best potential probably, or the youngest guy, which might be Sylvain Gagne. Or I could actually put in Pedersen. You know, let's put in Pedersen. Actually, wait. Valen. Yeah, let's put in Valen. Give Valen an opportunity down there, because Valen does have top 9 potential, and we'll also give Valen some power play time, because I want to get these guys developed and make sure they actually make the NHL. These top 9s probably won't make it, but still might as well give them an opportunity to. There we go. That is good. Okay. So that is our trade we are going to make to start this episode. We might make a couple more at the deadline, but I would like to get the rest of the season done in this episode. So let's go 1 month at a time and see how our new boy in Bullion performs, and hopefully he could get us to a playoff spot. Okay, here we go. There's a nice win over Buffalo to start off with 5-4, and William Dunham is back in the AHL, which means we're going to have to take somebody out of the lineup. Who do we want to take out? We'll take out Lane Sarich because he's already like 26. Because we need Dunham to be playing. There you go. That's good. And okay, a pretty good month to start off with. We're scoring a lot of goals to start off. Just what we needed. Hopefully Bullion's a big part of that. When we do drop 2 straight games after I was saying that. Come on, boys. There's 3 straight losses. That's not good. Okay, now all of a sudden we've lost 5 games in a row after the first 3 wins. I don't like that. Let me take a look at our player stats. Bullion leading the team in points. He's already got 30 goals now on the season. When we picked him up, how much goals did he have? I don't even remember. Okay, he's got 6 goals, 2 assists, 8 points in 8 games. Yeah, this guy's definitely a really good goal scorer for us. Really like the pickup of him. If need be, we could always drop him back down to the second line. And then maybe... yeah, maybe we'll do that. Put him as a second liner. Because he's still getting power play time and he's a better fit down there. Even though he has been really good with that top line. Still, we're going to just make sure we get these lines as best as possible. Because this team should be a playoff team. But we are struggling right now. We are at 46 points. The last wildcard spot in the East has 51 points. So we are quite far back. We need to somehow make up some ground this month. We are getting closer to the trade deadline. And oh no, that's not good. That's a very bad way to start simulating, as Rohan House has been injured till February the 5th. So at least the All-Star break is coming up, but still that's not good. We're going to have to rely on Francis Nguyen, which means I am going to call up Lorentz because he doesn't go through waivers. I would call up Mui, but I don't want Mui to get claimed. But I don't know if he would get claimed. He might get claimed because he's a really good... actually, he probably wouldn't. You know what, we're going to call up Mui. Mui deserves an opportunity because he's been an AHL goalie for multiple years, or a long time actually, and he's been really good, so he deserves an opportunity to play some NHL time. So we'll let him play as backup. He might not even play any games, but who knows. And then that will give Bayer an opportunity to join the goaltending in the AHL. Okay, let's see how we simulate with Nguyen as their starter. Come on, Nguyen. Get in those wins, please. And Pearson is back in the AHL. Good news. Which means Klubertons is out. But yeah, hopefully we can make the playoffs this year. We should be a playoff team. I just need to find that offense that we haven't had in the last few years. Willie Dunham's been injured again in the AHL. This guy seems to be pretty injury prone for his first AHL season. And Rohan House is back. which means I don't think Mui got to play. Let's see, did he get to play at all in the NHL? No, he did not. That kind of sucks. I wanted him to get a little bit of an opportunity, but whatever. And he was not claimed on waivers, which is good because he's probably one of the best AHL goalies out there. Okay, we'll take Howes and put him back in. And then we'll go back to the AHL and put Mui back in for Bayer. Even though Bayer has elite potential, I still would rather Bayer be out of the lineup for now. Okay, so we're 22, 22, and 4 at February the 1st, which is not bad. But we need to start winning games because we are still like 8 points back of that last playoff spot, I think. Yeah, we're 8 points back of the Leafs. So we're going to have to find a way to get our offense going. Looks like after simulating a little bit more, Bouillon hasn't scored a lot. Maybe I should keep him on the top line. Because he had 8 points in 8 games and now he's at 9 and 10, which is still really good. Still 6 goals in 10 games. Really liking this guy. Very good steal for the salary he's making. But yeah, we might still make some trades. I don't know. Depends what we want to go after and what's available at the trade deadline. So let's go another month. Let's go like a day before the deadline. And then we could see what is out there. And then maybe we'll make some trades at the deadline to help this team out. And there's 2 wins to start the month. House is back to full health, which is good. 3 straight wins. 4 straight wins. And Jensen's been injured. We'll go replace player. Or not Jensen, Johansson. 2 straight losses after that. This team is still wildly inconsistent, which I don't really like, but whatever. Okay, so Dunham is back. Looks like we're getting some good growth in the minors. Dunham and Tucker have been developing well. Coley Minen should be in the NHL technically at this stage. I still wouldn't mind calling him up maybe for the playoffs if we need a forward. Who was it that was injured or back? Oh, there was nobody. Okay, never mind. There's another win over Colorado. Yeah, there's a loss to the Rangers. Loss to the Flyers. Damn, this team's still inconsistent. I don't like that. Johansson is back. We'll throw him back into the defensive core instead of Andronov, I think it was. There you go, Johansson. And yeah, there's another win over the Islanders. How are we in terms of the standings? We are 2 points back of the Leafs now with a game in hand. This team is starting to find their way back to being a potential playoff team. We just got to keep on winning games. Okay, let's go to these last few games up to the deadline. There's another win. There's a loss to Toronto, which is a big loss, but then we beat Carolina. So we are 30, 26, and 5 just at the deadline. And we are 3 points back of the Panthers. And way more points behind the Islanders. Damn, that Metropolitan division is way better than our division. But yeah, we're just chasing the Panthers right now and the Maple Leafs. So we are in a pretty good predicament as long as we could get the offense going after the straight deadline. Let's take a look at our player stats going into the deadline, just so we can see on who we might want to flip away. So Matthews has got 43 points, so it looks like he kind of slowed down a bit since the start of this episode. Still pretty good though for him. We're going to actually have to give him an extension, so we'll do that soon. Foodie 40 points, Foligno 30 points. I don't like their plus minus really, so that's kind of iffy. Perrin 16 points, not too bad for a fourth liner. And Leeson has, or not Leeson, Leeson. Leeson sounded like I was thinking of Enver Leeson, former NHL player for some reason, but Brett Leeson has 13 points, not too bad. Landeskog 61 points, Garon 38 points, Petrovic 17 points, and Fitzpatrick 13 points. Right wing wise, Bouillon, since joining us, has 10 goals and 4 assists in 23 games. Damn, this guy is really good at scoring. The fact that he already has 34 goals in 60 games, very good bargain deal for him. Svechnikov 51 points, which is a little bit low, but whatever. Dingman 36 points is pretty good for his second season, and getting like third line and power play time. I like that. Xavier Jenner 18 points. Harvey Jenner has only played 38 games but 12 points. Wall 37 points. Biggs 30 points. Lacerte 12. Larson 11. Stewart 10. Savonin 8. And Braden Schneider 2. And our goaltending has been a little bit iffy, but yeah, for now I think our team has been pretty good. It's just more about keeping the puck out of the net, it seems like, because some of our lines, like our second line, has been really bad in terms of keeping the puck out of the net. So we might have to look into finding a better piece for that second or third line that could keep the puck out of the net, but we might not make any trades, who knows. So let's advance to this trade deadline, and we will go in as a conservative buyer. Yeah, we'll go in as a conservative buyer just in case. And we'll see what is out there. Okay, so anything interesting that could help us out. These guys are a little bit too old. Don't really want somebody that's old. Morgan Frost is pretty good, but 6 years is a little bit iffy. Byram, Fisher. Not really any good looking people to trade for. Simeon Dur Argunshensev. How good is this guy? 85 overall. And he's a center, a second line center, and he fits only our top line probably. This guy's got a lot of assists. So he's a pretty good playmaker, but I don't really feel like he's something we need. We would probably have to trade away somebody like Foodie for this to go through. There's already been a trade that I just missed, but whatever. Let's take a look at the trading block. Actually, that's our own trading block. Let's take a look at proposed trade. Just see what is out there on people's blocks, or what is available, even though we're probably going to get interrupted by trade offers or something. Is there anybody with 1 year left that is intriguing? That's more what I'm looking at. Kubalik, no thank you. We already had you. We already had Suzuki, Rasmussen, Jersey. Not really anything there. I'm more looking for like a rental piece if we are to make any more trades, but I don't feel like I want to, because I feel like this team could still make a playoff spot no matter what. Like, if we just barely miss, that will suck, but I think we're on the uprise as of late. But yeah, there doesn't look to be anything huge on the block. Actually, let's just sort by overall and then see if there's any. Actually, we were looking at maybe David Pastrnak, but I don't know if David Pastrnak is on the block. I don't think so. Because, yeah, he would have been one of the top players available, but he got extended now for 3 years. Of course. I wonder if there's any snipers on the block, though. Let me sort by this. Wait, can I sort by player type? Yeah, I can. Sniper. They have a couple snipers, but nobody in the first line. I wish I could go to search players on this. I don't think I can. There's another sniper. We're looking for good snipers here. Like, Henley is a rookie, though, so he's not going to be dealt. Let's look for teams that are sellers, though, first. The Florida Panthers are a seller. Do they have anything interesting for snipers on the block? Owen Tippett, 2 years. Brizgalov at 1 year, but he's in the AHL. Anybody else is a seller? We might not make any trades. Nashville, again, has stuff on the block. Eli Tolvanen, but I think, yeah, he's extended for 8 years, unfortunately. New York Rangers are a seller. Do they have any good snipers? It does not look like it either. Jeez, it seems like there's like a lack of snipers in the NHL or something. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to make any trades, which might be a bit risky, but I think this team can be a playoff team still. Let's see. Seller. Tampa Bay's a seller, even though they're above us in the standings. Any snipers? No. Or it doesn't look like it. Enroth, third line scoring forward, and he is signed for how long? 3 years. Not bad for only 25. But I don't think they're going to want to part away with him. He might fit our second line, which is good. Would he be better to bring this guy in and get rid of Guerin? I don't think so. 40 points in 62 games is not bad, but he's got top 6 potential, but I don't think he will be a top 6. This guy had a really good playoffs last year. He's got 11 goals in 31 playoff games. Definitely a goal scorer, but I don't really feel like he would be the right one to trade for. I mean, I could go to find trade and see what Tampa Bay would want for somebody like him, but I don't really think we're gonna make any trades, to be honest. Where is he? What was his name again? Oh, it was Enroth, right? I think. It's hard to remember sometimes players' names. Enroth, there he is. And no trades found. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be making any trades. There's nothing really that intrigues me about the trade deadline right now. This is just top 10 players. Let's go actually look at the available for each team on this. Kucherov still might be intriguing because he is a good shooter and he only does have 1 year left. But the thing is with bringing in another players, I'm pretty sure we're at the 50 salary cap salaries mark. So we would have to get rid of somebody in order to get Kucherov. Like to get somebody like Kucherov, we'd have to give up, say, let's see, who do we got here? We would probably have to give up like Guerin to do this. I mean, Guerin has 1 year left as well, but he has more trade value. I don't know. Kucherov is a good goal scorer, but I don't know if we would really have the right moves to make it to get him. Because he does fit our second line for sure. I don't know, does Guerin fit our second line though? I do like Guerin, but I don't like his defensive stats. He doesn't really fit our team that well. If I was to trade Guerin for Kucherov as a rental and then get back like a draft pick as well in part of this deal, maybe it would work. I don't think I could get another second, but we could try a second. That's too high for them probably. Did I have a third for next year still? They do, and they're willing to part with it. Guerin for Kucherov and a third. It would make sense because then we'd actually have a right winger instead of a left winger playing right wing. I mean, Guerin hasn't been bad, but he's been dropping off considerably in terms of that, and his plus and minus is kind of iffy. I really do like Guerin though. And he had 8 points last year in the playoffs, but he does have 1 year left. I don't know how much he's going to want. Kucherov is probably going to want way less. But is it worth bringing in him? He had 83 points last year. He's got 47 this year. He's a minus 10 this year. And I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make any trades. Yeah, I'm not going to make any trades. I think this team is good enough on its own, and if we don't make the playoffs, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I don't feel like making any trades at this deadline. Oh, which might be risky. We might miss the playoffs because of not making any trades, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, so let's just make sure our lineup is good though for the rest of the season sim. Do I want to make any changes in this lineup? I might go back to Bouillon on the top line. Yeah, I think I will, just for a little bit of a change up. Hopefully these lines could figure out. Let's actually just switch those two, even though that does affect the chemistry a bit. Maybe actually, and we'll try Petrovic up there instead, because Petrovic's a sniper. And let's just change up the lines a tiny bit. Yeah, let's just try something like that, and that should be fine. Okay, let's see how we sim for this last bit of the season. We are only 3 points back of a playoff spot. We need to string together some wins here, and then maybe we'll be a playoff team. So let's go 1 game, and we win 6-1 on the deadline, so that's a really good game to start off with. Okay, let's go to this game against Nashville. This episode might be a bit longer just because of the trade deadline, but yeah, hopefully we can make these playoffs. Okay, there's 3 wins in a row, 4 wins in a row, 5 wins in a row. That's exactly what we needed. And Rohan House was never injured, but it said he was. Interesting. But that was a good stretch of hockey. 5 wins in our last 6 games. 6 wins in our last 7. That's definitely going to help us in terms of the standings. Yeah, we're now in 3rd in our division. We're definitely not going to win our division because the Sabres are running away with it. They're 20 points above us, which is pretty crazy. We are only 1 point above the Panthers and 2 points above the Leafs, so it is going to be a very tight race to see who gets that last playoff spot. Because as you can see, there's a wild card spot in the Metro that has 76 points, so we are 1 point above that as well. This is going to come down to the wire. Hopefully this team can just keep it together, and hopefully we don't suffer any injuries. Let's go to this game against Columbus. There's another win against Nashville, big win. There's another big win. Damn, we're having a really good month here. 38, 27, and 5. We've won every single game this month except for one game. This is exactly what we need right at the right time. Let's go to this game against Ottawa. 3 more games. We win, we lose. That's our first loss in a while. And then we lose to Boston 7-5, which is not good. We do not want to have multiple losses in a row. 39, 29, and 5. How are we in the standings? We're still in a playoff spot. That's good news. And we are 3 points above the Panthers with 1 less game played. That is really good. We just got to keep on winning, and we can't fall apart here. So we are going to go with these 2 games against Ottawa and the Islanders, and we win 1 and we lose 1. It's going to probably come down to like the last game if we make the playoffs. We're literally 1 point above the Leafs, who are outside of it, but we do have 2 games in hand, which is great. But it is going to literally come down to the wire. Everybody in the Metro has clinched already, unless somehow the Flyers could get back into a playoff spot. But it's going to come down to probably us, the Panthers, and the Leafs. Hopefully we could get these wins down the stretch. Do we have any games against the Leafs left? No, we don't. Game against Tampa. This is a big game. And then we have a game against Florida. Shootout loss. That is not a good loss to have in a shootout. 6-5. I mean, it's a point, but still it is very iffy at this stage. Can we beat Florida, please? Yes, we can. 6-2. That is a big, big win. We're 40 points above our contending teams now. We are probably pretty close to clinching, I would assume. 4 points, 5 games left, which means the Maple Leafs can only get 10 more points, which means they could finish with 94 max. And then the Panthers only have 4 games left, which means they can only get 8 points max, which means 92 points or more we clinch. So we need 2 wins here, at least. Maybe even more than that. Come on, boys. Game against the Rangers. There's a win, 4-1. Big win from the boys. That should give us almost the playoff clinch. Game against New Jersey is a 5-2 loss. That's not good. I know I am taking this a bit slow, but I want to make sure we get into the playoffs. 90 points in 79 games. We are 5 points above the Panthers now. Damn, that Metropolitan Division is going to be really scary when we get to the playoffs. It's not a surprise we lost to the Devils, though. They have 115 points. Okay, can we please get a win against the Winnipeg Jets? We got not a lot of time left this season, and Bob Morales has been injured, replaced player. 5-3 win, that almost will clinch it for us. We are 5 points above them, the Panthers, still with 2 games left, which means the Panthers can't eliminate us, I don't think. But it doesn't say we've clinched a playoff spot yet. So, I don't know. Let's advance today. We do got a game against the Panthers at the last game of the season, which might be the most crucial game, unless they lose, which I don't know if they did. They have 87 points. They're still 5 points back. Yeah, that last game of the season might come down to it. But here's a game against Tampa Bay. Can we beat Tampa Bay? Yes, we can in a shootout, and we have clinched the playoff spot with a 2-1 victory over Tampa Bay, just barely squeaking into the playoffs. But I am very impressed with this team's last month or so. And final game against the season against Florida is a 5-2 loss. So we will finish 44, 32, and 6 and make the playoffs yet again. The Maple Leafs actually missed the playoffs, and Philadelphia somehow squeaks in with 92 points. Whew. Just barely making it in, but we do make the playoffs. Let's take a look at our player stats for the season and the team stats and stats around the league, and then see who we're up against in round 1. But man, I didn't know if we were going to make it at the end of the season, but that month of March helped us get to the playoffs. So entire league-wise, New Jersey and Buffalo were absolutely insane. They finished 1 and 2 in the league. We finished 11th best in the league, not too bad. Goals for per game, we finished with 3.05, which is still not great. It's tied with the Sens, who are way near the bottom. So we weren't still a really great offensive team, but at least made the playoffs. Goals against per game, we were looking like, we're like top 12 probably in terms of goals against with 3.02. So pretty good. We only allowed 2 less goals than we scored. Our power play was at 16.8%, which was still one of the worst in the league, so that's a little bit iffy. And our penalty kill at 81.1% was one of the best in the league. So just a good defensive team as per usual. One shorthanded goal for 20-17-4 on home ice and 24-15-2 on the road. Nice, okay. Let's take a look at our player stats for the season. Starting off with our centers, Matthews had 62 points in his third season. Really good from him. I'm definitely going to give him a big contract because, as you can see, he's got 43 goals and 117 career assists for 160 points in 246 games. Hopefully he has a big playoffs this year. Foodie 56 points, so he picked it up, and his plus minus actually picked it up as well, which is good. Foligno 43 points and a minus 18. I don't like that still. Hopefully he plays better defensively in the playoffs. Perrin 19 points and Leeson 18 points. As for left wingers, Landeskog was phenomenal. 80 points from Landeskog. He did slow down a lot in terms of goal scoring, but I really like this guy. Guerin 51 points, so he picked it up offensively, but his plus minus is still not great. But still a good season from him. More of a passer though. Petrovic 28 points and 19 goals. Really like that from Petrovic. That is his best goal total in since he played with the LA Kings. That's nice. And Fitzpatrick barely played. Right wing wise, Bouillon had 75 points and finished with 42 goals. This guy is a really great player. 18 goals in 44 games, 32 points in 44 games with us. Yeah, I really like this guy. He's definitely going to stay here probably for a long time after that trade. I'm glad that Nashville was willing to give him up. Very great player. Hopefully he plays good in the playoffs. I don't know if he's ever played in the playoffs before. He played 4 games in 2028-29, so he's barely played in the playoffs. Svechnikov 71 points, so he picked it up a bit. Dingman 48 points. That's a pretty good second season from Dingman. Yeah, I'm really liking him. He's scoring a decent amount of goals, so hopefully he becomes a really good shooter for us. Jenner 22 points, and the other Jenner barely played. Defensively, Wall 48 points. That's a pretty good season from him. His best in his career. So I like that. His plus minus is still not great, but whatever. Biggs 39 points and 17 goals from the blue liner. That is a pretty good season from him. He's back on the uprise, which is good, and he is living up to his 8-year contract extension. Lacerte 17 points, not too bad. Stewart 14, Larson 13 and a plus 14, I like that. And Savonin 13 points and a plus 11, so it looks like the top 6 was pretty good. And then goalie-wise, Rohan Howe has had 5 shutouts in a 905 and a 2.94, so not great, but 5 shutouts is nice. And Nguyen had a 912 in a 2.91, and he was actually really good again. 15, 8, and 1. So Nguyen's now 30, 15, and 4 in his career. Really liking Nguyen as a backup. Let's take a look at the entire league for points, and then we'll see who we're up against in round 1. This episode's over 30 minutes, but whatever. You guys probably won't care. So the most points this season was Elias Pettersson with 104 points. That's quite a bit. Most goals this season was Como with 54. Bouillon was actually like top 10 in goal scoring, which is pretty crazy, but Como, a really good player for Chicago. Best plus minus this season was 43 points from Dahlin, or plus 43 from Dahlin and Strome. And Dylan Larkin, our former player. Most penalty minutes this season was Danner with 157. Most power play goals was McKinnon with 18. Most game-winning goals was Kukkonen with 12. Most power play points was Genther with 30. Most shorthanded goals was Cody Glass with 5. Most shorthanded points was also him with 7. Okay. Most hits this season just for fun, Robert Thomas. Most blocked shots, Cale Makar. Most giveaways, Miska Kukkonen. Most takeaways was Connor McDavid with 159. And Connor McDavid also had a fight apparently. Most fights though was Jason Danner with 27. Xavier Jenner was up there at 14. Okay, defensive points. The most points by a defenseman was Rasmus Dahlin with 82 points in 82 games. Sergachev is well up there. Not too bad. Best goaltender for wins was Jalen Ritchie of the New Jersey Devils with 47 wins. Most shutouts was Thatcher Demko, Shesterkin, Huey, and Rohan House and Jarkov. So House had almost the most shutouts, or technically had the most shutouts in the league. Best save percentage by a starter was Igor Shesterkin with a 919. And best goals against average was Igor as well with a 2.29. Best rookie this season for points was Dominic Smaby with 73 points. He was the franchise guy that went last year, a couple years ago in the draft. And then Marchment is well up there. Okay, so pretty good season. Who are we going up against in round 1? Hopefully we can beat whoever it is. And it's going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning. So a pretty even looking like for the first round. They went 45, 29, and 8. We went 44, 32, and 6. So we don't have home ice, but let's take a look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. They actually eliminated us last year in the playoffs in the second round. So we have kind of a familiar foe to an extent, you could say. So here is their top line. So they got Enroth, who we were looking to maybe trade for, but we didn't. Braden Point and Mikko Rantanen, so very good Point and Rantanen. Enroth is a bit weak, but he does score a decent amount, so it doesn't really matter that much. Second line, Milano, Cirelli, and Bjorkstrand, pretty good second line. And then it kind of drops off a lot. Third line, Garrett Nicholson, Matt Sjöström, and Curtis Lazar. And fourth line, Tyler Benson, Sam Lafferty, and Jack Opaka. Interesting. Defensively, they have Sergachev and Rasmus Anderson, Neil Pionk and Vince Dunn, Esa Lindell and Brady Shea. So a very veteran blue line. And then goaltending wise, they have Thatcher Demko and Evan Fitzpatrick. Thatcher Demko had another really good season. He was the main reason we lost last year. So hopefully we could beat him this year. And in depth-wise, they have some really bad depth players. Evan Chuko, 67 overall. Jacques Lalime, 71 overall. And Antti Sikola, 63. So overall-wise, I think we can beat them. They don't really have the greatest depth, but it just comes down to probably how good Thatcher Demko plays, because Demko is really good sometimes in the simulation. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Detroit Red Wings franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the playoffs as we look to make it back to the second round. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.